Ian, we are back.
And man, does it feel good.
Yes, sir.
Back and better than ever. We certainly hope to be, at least. We've really missed working with each other, and we've missed you, our
Just
loyal
a
pod
little
audience.
hiatus. Little
Yeah,
hiatus.
in the grand scheme of things, a little blip. In a couple of years, you won't even realize it. Anyway, we return at a rather momentous time, don't we there,
Yep.
Marky?
Yep. The big 2-0.
Yep, we're almost old enough to drink. Episode 20, 1/5 of the way to 100.
Yes, sir.
Feels like just yesterday was episode 10.
1. Oh, 10. Okay.
10.
Uh, Ian,
Yeah.
what are our three monumental stories for this 20th episode?
So we have sports, of course. We have a deep dive, or at
Yes.
least a dive, into golf's Michelob beer guy. You could also read this story as, quote, America's phone/social media addiction.
Yeah, it'll be fun though.
It'll be two parts of a pod there. So for finance, we have another real discussion on the markets and the
How could
quote
we
unquote
not?
crypto test. Very alluring there.
Yes, and the
And
wild
then
card.
we finish up with something a little bit lighter. We have summer and pop culture.
Tis the
It
season.
is the season for it. So
Yes.
I've been really looking forward to this countdown. So 3, 2, 1.
Let's get
Let's
into
get
it.
into it.
Got red hair, they really don't care what they talk about. They just want to have a good time while talking online. Let's get into it.
One of our better countdowns, I will say. So sports. Why don't you tee this off, Mark?
Very funny pun. Ian, so this story, it's a few weeks old now, but I still wanted to touch on it. So there was a photo taken of the illustrious Tiger Woods at the PGA Championship, like I said, a few weeks ago, a month ago. But no, it's not about Tiger. In the background, there's the usual swarm of fans all holding up their phones, getting their picture, their selfie, their video of, Tiger doing what he does best, or what he used to do best, right? You're familiar with that scene,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I can see it in my head. Crystal
Yes.
clear.
Yes. But the best part is front and center, there's some guy, some dude, some no-name person who doesn't have his phone out, and he's just sitting there watching Tiger with his own two eyes.
Yeah, so pretty incredible. I actually had not heard of this until you texted me and said, "Hey, check out Michelob Beer Guy."
Right.
And I typed that in, not knowing what to expect, and I had 1,001 hits, probably 10,001 hits, and yeah. So PGA Tour, y'all can picture it. The players are on the green, and the fans are right up on that fence, phone up. Zero eyeballs are watching the actual golf shot. They're on their phones, and we have this one guy who's just standing there. His eyes are focused on Tiger. He has a beer in his hand, which we'll get to, Michelob, and he's just soaking it in. Right,
In the moment.
He is living authentically. It's one of those photos you think is staged,
Right.
but
And
it's kind of mind blowing in a way, because
it shouldn't be a story. And
no, it should not
15
be a
years
thing.
ago, it's not a story, but now suddenly it is a story.
I mean, the irony is not lost on me that we have a story about our addiction to phone that is coming to us via like Twitter and other social media apps,
yes.
people are taking pictures of the people taking a picture. It's like this mirror in a mirror in a mirror thing.
Yeah.
But man, it does harken back to this thought that I think we've all had, that we're not always living our authentic non-iPhone lives. We're not unplugged. We're so focused. We're so focused on recording something for the likes, for the subscribes. I mean, obviously we're doing a podcast.
We don't even record it for ourselves. I feel it's like we record it to show it to other people so they can see what we saw. It's weird.
One of the articles I read basically made the point that you take these videos and pictures, and honestly, you never watch them again.
Very rarely,
So
unless it's
you
your
had
kids
this moment
or
to
something.
watch it. Yeah, you had this moment to watch it live, to see one of golf's greatest, air quote, ambassadors to the sport, and you didn't even see it live. You watched it through a phone, and you're never going to watch that even again.
I know.
So the man at the center of our story, his name is Mark Raddick.
Yes, you did the deep dive on him. Yep.
I didn't pronounce that possibly right. Anyway, he had a couple nice sound bites, sort of folksy charm. Life, he quote unquote, he said, life's fleeting and sometimes you'll miss some of the most important things by looking through your phone or social media. I'm not that great with my phone. And he had a tough shot, so I decided to watch it, he said.
There it is. Boom. Yeah, so
great.
it'd be
stuff.
a funny scene just as it was, but what additionally elevated it and probably made it more viral, if you will,
Yeah.
is he's holding a beer, a Michelob Ultra, and you can perfectly read the brand name. Like you said, it's like it was placed or planned. It's a funny coincidence, but because of that, they capitalized on the moment. And I think he signed a little brand deal, and now he's officially, the Michelob guy or the Michelob Ultra guy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now you're flipping the switch. You think it's kind of a dark capitalism aspect now, huh?
I mean, you can read the story any number of ways. I like that he didn't have his phone out. I think that's a positive thing. Obviously, Michelob is saying this is an amazing opportunity. We can sign this guy for some money, not Tiger money, to have him be our endorsement guy. It's a nice story about disconnecting from a tech, but also how quickly a multi-million-dollar company saw an opportunity to make a quick buck.
Right, pretty cheap advertising for them, I guess.
To capitalize on, ironically, a digital moment, even though the moment was initially praised for being not digital.
Yeah,
that irony is not lost on me. But
yeah. I mean, I'm still drawn to the story. I like the concept.
I'm still happy about the story.
We've talked about it, right? We've been at a lunch table. There's 8 people sitting around it.
My gosh.
You and I are there too, and everyone's on their phones, not talking.
Yeah. You're there.
I know I
but
told
you're not
you.
There.
I've talked about it with my wife when we're on vacation specifically, like that exact moment, right? I have this distinct memory of being on our honeymoon together. We were whale watching a boat, and we had their cameras out, taking a perfect picture of a whale breaching the surface, which admittedly is very cool. And I purposely didn't do that and just wanted to watch and listen to the captain. And so, I mean,
yeah, and I think
that's
that memory is still super vivid to you.
Clearly, yeah.
I mean, yes, having a picture on the wall sometimes of a moment is nice. We're not saying that it's not useful to take pictures and videos. We both really value having videos and pictures of our families, things like that. But I think when you're at the golf course at the event, or you're at the water park, or you're on vacation day one, maybe every moment doesn't have to be super cataloged. Ironically, the now viral tweet of the photo, the caption was, "Joy is living in the moment." And the Michelob ad centered on what's his first name? Sorry, I forgot. Mark,
our hero, our protagonist.
Our hero. Main man Mark. The shirt with his image on it is, "It's only worth it if you enjoy it." So I say, Mark, let's take a moment, separate from our screens.
All right.
After you finish with this pod, of course.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah,
so
not quite.
So anyway, that's our first golf story too, I think. So episode 20, we got golf story for all the golfers out there.
We're not talking about
not listening about this podcast until they got golf in it.
Yeah. So maybe next week we'll do the new LIV Saudia, but that's
you're living in a time where golf is in the news.
So finance, Ian. Talk about a roller coaster. Well, it's not a roller coaster, it's just skiing down.
Not going up yet, yeah.
The last 6 to 8 weeks in the stock market, the crypto market, the real estate market, pick your finance market. It's been down, right? We're near recession territory. Pick your definition. Inflation's up. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing going up. We're not going to talk about gas prices, right? But you mentioned something a couple weeks ago about a crypto test. So what is the crypto test? Where'd you hear about it? Did you invent it? Did you patent this?
It's not patented. I don't think I totally invented it, but
well, I heard it from you first, so
I may have taken it to slightly novel ground. Essentially, it's this. I invest in the stock market because I fundamentally believe, honestly, that not doing so is silly. So in other words, flipping on its head, I don't worry that the stock market will be here one day and gone June 20th, right?
If that happens, then the world has some serious problems.
Right. So I basically, as I sit here and talk to you, I feel confident that it will exist for many decades.
If you believe the U.S. economy and the global economy will exist decades into the future,
the stock market,
then the stock market will go up. It's a representation of that. Yes.
It will go down. We are in a time period where a lot of people are losing a lot of money, and that's serious. In mere hours, sometimes percentage points will drop. But with that said, I don't worry that the core tenets that hold up and give credence to the existence of the market, as you said, Mark, they're not in any real jeopardy. There are really smart men and women who are spending 12-hour days researching, writing, figuring out ways to, quote unquote, pull us out of this morass, get us back on track. I believe in those people. I believe in the market. Stocks go down, and smart and sometimes lucky people buy the dip. Life moves on.
Mostly lucky.
You taught me this actually a while back, Mark. If you look at the max or 5-year display on stocks, I mean, basically you have little to something that's not little,
Right.
So
It's all
I mean,
perspective.
I
Like
buy
your
stocks
time
because
horizon.
I want to look at them as that max level.
Right.
Give it enough time, my portfolio will generally rise. Obviously, there are stocks that may fall completely. It's possible. But I think enough people agree with me who will buy stocks, increasing demand, that will eventually cause most of the prices to rise. If more people buy over time and sell, I'm optimistic prices and the value of the stocks will increase.
Okay.
So that's basically how I feel about the stock
That's
market.
stocks. That's maybe separate from crypto. So what about crypto
Yeah.
specifically?
So the stock test passes, no problem. The crypto test, where I asked myself if I believe those central tenants will exist and go on, I'm not so sure anymore. I don't remember the exact crypto, but we had one that lost like 95% in mere hours. Essentially,
most of them.
It was, yeah. So basically, on any given day, that day, unfortunately for some folks, they lost almost their entire value. I've always been, I'll be really honest, Mark, a little unsure if anything besides Bitcoin and Ether are really safe, air quote bets. But I mean, I don't even know if those two are going to survive. I mean, Bitcoin, and by survive, I mean Bitcoin could be worth $5,000. But the fact that somebody said it'd be worth like 500,000 in 3 years, to me, the $5,000 means that essentially it lost. Yes, it still exists, but I mean, it's not really there. So basically, the crypto test, I don't know if I have the same confidence with crypto as I have with traditional stocks.
I think most people would agree with you, at least traditional investors.
And I think for me, if you had asked this question at the beginning of the year, which we did a 2022 sort of like financial primer, how we feel about things, I was a lot more bullish on crypto.
You were very hot on it, yes.
But I think the problem with crypto that remains is there's so many. The foundation of a lot is paper thin, and I'm not in the market to make a quick buck, so I don't do the whole timing thing right. In crypto, I think is a lot more about timing. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. My strategy was to take care of my FOMO and to feel like I had my, toes dipped in the water still to be in the arena. I put a very small percentage of the money I want to allocate this year towards my crypto. I did that in January. Boom. I checked the box.
That was your goal. Yeah.
And so whether it goes up or down, I executed on my strategy. And so I don't think about it after that.
That's fair. I think one more way to think about this crypto stress test or belief test is right now, a lot of people are taking the assumption or the belief that stocks are quote unquote on sale. Sales indicate things are cheaper than they are really.
Okay.
You buy something on sale because you believe and like the product and you think you got a good deal. When things are cheap though, and they're on sale, but you don't think there's any value to it, then buying them hoping to make money seems kind of silly, right? So there's stocks right now that are 20% down. They're possibly a good buy because they're going to grow. But I think some of the crypto that's really on sale doesn't have any value. It's just
still
cheaper.
Comes down to stocks are tied to actual physical real companies that sell a product and produce value for a consumer and for society. Crypto does not necessarily do that yet. It's promised to do that in the future.
Yes.
That's the allure of metaverse and things like that. But it's still an unproven, generally speaking, product or currency or what have you. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to disappear tomorrow. Maybe it won't exist in the future. I think it probably will. There's a lot of smart people who believe in it. I don't know how many times it's going to have to evolve or iterate its current form, and who knows what its final form will be, or what percentage of the economy it will take care of.
What that max or 5-year outlook is going to be for some of the things.
I think we should not conflate crypto or like stock financial analogies with crypto analogies. They're talked about in the same sphere, but they are different animals. So that's what I think.
No, I think that's a good point. So anyway, that was kind of my little mental puzzle with the crypto test. As always, we'd love to hear from you guys. We know we have some people out there who are really into crypto, really into stocks, and we really value your opinion and thoughts.
Yes, tell us your
Um,
contrarian viewpoints.
Tell us what your test is, quote unquote. All right, moving on to something a little lighter. Let's talk about summer pop culture, man. It's the summer
Yes.
blockbuster season. You know, you have your May to Labor Day where you have 2 movies a week come out. Hollywood saves up their biggest and brightest stars for this time. But also, you can look at this time as a good time to read a book, to maybe watch that TV show that's been on the back burner since fall, maybe. So,
Well, some of these things are unusual because of COVID. They've been on hold for a couple of years. So
right. So we're getting an onslaught.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm not usually the pop culture guy in this show. That's
No,
yours,
but you're going to lead us
But
off. Yeah.
I saw Top Gun 2, and I think it kicks off the summer movie scene perfectly.
Mhm.
Yeah, the characters are bland, the story is flat, but the action, no hyperbole here. You've never seen anything like an F-18 flying in Top Gun 2. And I only saw it in like the regular standard theater. I think people should go see it in IMAX probably if they have
IMAX 4D
the opportunity.
with
The climactic scenes, they're literally amazing. They're exhilarating. In a day and age where every single Marvel super movie is, 99% CGI, the backgrounds, their suits, their faces, their height, right? Everything
Yeah.
is green screen. It was so refreshing to watch a movie that took place largely with practical in-camera effects, and you could see, you could feel the difference in the environments on the actors' faces. Like they are feeling the G's, and it translates just a little bit better to the audience. That's my opinion. So I would recommend seeing it, regardless of what you think about anything.
I have not seen it. It's on my list. That's a great endorsement, Mark. Appreciate that.
It was a very fun summer blockbuster.
Awesome. Top Gun. So Top Gun 2. I usually like keeping up with the newest movie, book,
Yes, you
TV
do.
show. But lately I finally went back to something that I had on my list for a long time. I'm watching Ted Lasso.
Oh, this could have been a sports story.
Yeah, I can't begin to describe how fun this show is. Everybody that I have met who's really big into pop culture said, without a doubt, this is going to check all the boxes. I can guarantee you're going to like this. It had a slowish start, but I'm really enjoying it. It's somehow a legitimate masterclass in leadership. Ted Lasso being the leader and the coach.
You said the same thing about
it's
Brooklyn.
a very funny comedy.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You said the same thing, I swear.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Well, there is some really good stuff in leadership there too.
Yeah.
That's like a 7 or 8 season story arc, so things happen a little bit slower. Ted Lasso is like 10 episodes, I think, in season 1. I think it ends in season 3, so it's more finite.
Nice contained arc. Yeah.
Like episodes 3, 4, and 5 are there's a lot of growth, a lot of development. Anyway, I'm recommending this show. It's been around for essentially ever. It's really impressive. I did see Jurassic Park Dominion very recently. Action-packed thrill ride. 50 plus dinosaurs. We're in Malta on a motorcycle. We're in the Dolomite Mountains in Italy.
How many dinosaurs were not real dinosaurs? It's all that creature stuff, right?
It was like 3 that I had to Google after, but there's always a Stegosaurus and Triceratops thrown in.
Out of the 6, is it 6? The 2 trilogies? Where's it?
Yeah,
rank? Middle of the road.
It's probably the worst movie in turn, and I think most people agree with this, the critics. But
wow,
it's a thrill ride. They packed in like 3 movies worth of action.
Yeah.
A couple new characters, but really you're going to see it for the old characters, right? It's self-referential.
Selling that nostalgia.
Nostalgia-inducing appearances. I mean, the original actors, this is not a spoiler, they come back for this movie. So you're seeing both trilogies come together. It's fun, but it's not fantastic. It's not a good movie, but it's still fun.
Maybe next decade we'll get the prequels, right?
I think they're going to do that. There was a slight hint about that.
There's money on the table. They'll do it.
There's a lot of money. For books, I know, Mark, you didn't do a book. I'm recommending a very anti-beach read in terms of length and theme. It's called To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara.
Okay.
She is a author who writes like a book every 5 years, but they're like 800 pages long. Very, very good read. Please read this book. Maybe I will do another whole episode on this. I've loved her other books. To Paradise start on the beach. Unless it's a really long beach week, you might not finish it. But anyway,
You just
the activities.
mentioned the beach, so I'm gonna
I did.
segue here.
The
What are your
beach, the
favorite
beach.
activities for the summer? You know, I mean, the
Mhm.
beach is cool and all, but I just like sitting in a lounge chair in the backyard with my feet in a kiddie pool. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
and you
It keeps
do it
me around
plenty
the
of times.
sprinklers, yes, and of course, ample sunscreen. You know, very sensitive complexion here, so
Yeah, don't tan too well, do you there, buddy?
no.
Um, I do spend most of my summer days reapplying sunscreen as well. I go back and forth all the time on the spray versus the lotion. You know, one week I'm like, the spray is like super chemically and
How about just like an injection?
Weird.
Do they invent that yet?
yeah, I mean,
Or a pill?
big hats, long sleeve shirts.
That's
you
the
know,
trick. Yeah.
That's the trick. I do like going to the beach. My rule is like 3 beach days a summer. I don't want
Yeah.
to do more than that.
Once a month.
Yeah, if that, you know. I like water gun fights with the kids in the backyard because they're easy. And the water's always like super cold. So when it's super hot, it's like super refreshing.
Beyond refreshing.
But
Yeah.
when it's 75, it's like not really
fun.
quite pleasant.
Yeah.
Water parks have been a thing that I've really liked for a long time. I've never quite figured out why. I don't like traditional amusement parks at all, but I like water rides. You know, freeze pops, eating ice cream. I don't like cutting the grass. I don't like the mowing thing. I do it when I have to. I wish that we could move away from this like country club lawn aesthetic that
We
Americans are
can,
so
Ian.
fond of.
You can start it. I can start it. We can
I
move
have
away. That's-
daffodils, dandelions, clovers. I have a bunny that comes and eats the clovers, and I much prefer the bunny being there with more grass. To
This
having-
is the American lawn is a topic for another
It
discussion.
is.
Let's not
It's
get into that.
absolutely ridiculous. I was
So-
researching that like there's this no something where you don't like mow in May. Or is it? Yeah, no mow May. Wow. I just cracked it. I couldn't figure it out. But yes, that's a actually we'll mark that down, guys. You wrote
Episode 30.
episode 31 to 32.
Yeah. So really any outdoor activity that you can't
any
do in
outdoor
winter,
activity.
I think
Yep,
is
take
good for the
advantage of
summer.
it.
Yep. The
Take
zoo,
advantage of it.
amusement park. I mean, Michigan has 4 seasons. I love them all. I don't like the humidity in the summer or mosquitoes or ticks. But I like the long summer days. I like being able to enjoy a campfire and enjoying it late into the evening, to be outside when it's you know, it's dark out still, but you can just wear shorts and a hoodie.
Yeah.
The warmth from the daylight, you know.
Yeah, you are the fire expert too, by the way. I'm glad you plugged that because you can put a fire up in no time at all. I think you hit on a really big one, daylight for me. Winter, there's not enough daylight. You wake up in the dark, you go home in the dark. You know, in Michigan, you can this time of year by 6:15, there's some sun, there's some daylight. 9:15, there's still some outside.
Mhm.
I like things that are green. I like the lushness of it. Summer has flowers, and summer has an odor. It smells good. It's just kind of it's sort of alive in a way winter isn't. And
Literally,
I always
yes.
forget these things every time, and it comes around again, and I'm just so
It's the
overjoyed
beauty
by
of
it.
change. Yes.
I guess I'm like a goldfish in that sense that I have like a 10-second memory for seasons. But anyway,
Anyway, let's wrap up episode 20 here. What are our 3 takeaways, Ian?
all right. So live in the moment, everybody. Don't be afraid to not take that photo or obsess over that video. We promise that you won't be that much worse off for it. If you have a chance to experience life with others without technology, I say take it.
Take it.
If you hate it after, bring the phone next time. Invest in things you fundamentally believe in, that you don't worry about being here one day and gone the next. Risk is invigorating, but only if I believe that eventually I'll win over time. If the house always wins, I don't like to play that version of investing. I'm confident in investing in stocks. Crypto right now, you know, maybe not. I want to hear from you guys. Summer sunburns and mosquitoes and humidity are great. Wait,
Not humidity.
what was that? Oops, wrong notes there. In any regard, enjoy that slip and slide and the freshly cut watermelon. And we want to hear what summer means to you guys. What are the activities that you can't believe we didn't talk about? So I'm sure we missed some great ones.
Ian, great discussion. I missed them. I'm looking forward to the next episode, the next topics already. I think we mentioned future topics 3 or 4 times in this
Yeah,
episode.
we have to go back and actually listen to this. And
so
actually
that we
take
have
notes,
more to
right?
talk about.
Right.
Keep that complexion nice and protected, please.
Likewise to you, my friend. Stay well.
Yep.
As always, if you like what you hear or value in any way, like and subscribe. Tell a friend about us or talk to yourself about us near others.
Yes.
Either way. This has been 3, 2, 1.
Let's get into it. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The content in this podcast is not intended to be a research report, financial, or life advice, and does not constitute an endorsement of any product, service, individual, or organization.